the most surprising thing in my opinion is season 2, and that'll be Nutty Pizza's team. I had really high expectations for that team. I think I had them number 1 rated in my preseason rankings. Was I your team or their team? I had you two as
I think we were tied. I don't know if it was Nutty first.
I think I had Nutty first on mine, then you second. It might have been the other way around, but either way, I had them as a top 2 rated team. I thought their team was very, very good, and then their team was very, very bad. So I may have been a bit off the mark on that one. Let's put it that way.
The biggest surprise of the season was Nutty Pizza. Feels bad. Not a
good one. Bad
too,
because this is possibly last ever CDL season because he's working now with an early bedtime. He's going back to EST Sunday, so it's a wrong note to end on. Let's put it that way.
R.I.P. That's unfortunate right there. But all right, let's focus in more on your season then. Your expectations for your own team after the draft, were they high? Were they about average? What did you really think about your draft?
I mean, there's just different stories this because I had my initial team and then I had my second team. My first team I had really, really high expectations, and they ended up being a bit lower after the replacement. But I still thought we were a pretty good team. I thought we were definitely playoff caliber team. I just didn't know if we were like top 2 type team. That's the question: is this team like a top 2, top 4 team rather than is this a playoff bound team? It's very rare that I actually miss the playoffs in really any kind of amateur league, to be honest, despite all the Badger little memes.
Yeah, Badger carries the team to the playoffs. It's got to be that drafting. But okay, post picking up J-Bay, was it about the same?
I thought after we got JB, we were like the 4th or 5th best team in the league. I thought your team was better. I thought Nutty team was better. I thought Snow's team. I thought those 3 teams are probably above my team.
Well, you were right in the middle of the season, but I guess we could talk about that too. So middle of the season, it was actually, I don't know if it was the week after we played you guys that you switched off of playing mid pretty much completely, switched to the off lane. Was it just you guys wanted to win games, so you're like, all right, let's just get Badger out of mid?
You know, I'm gonna do a tell-all because fuck it, why not? There's no reason not to at this point. Season's over. I have high opinions of all the players on my team anyway. This team was actually an unbelievable disaster after a certain point. Like the Killerkarate loss, I mean, obviously your team was rough, but the loss to Snow really got the morale quite low. Obviously, we didn't have Remster that week, but there was a lot of internal issues after the week 6-0-2. And it was like Remster was clearly, or not Remster, Zelfer was clearly tilted because he was laning as the offlaner with Big Hat. And for those of you who haven't played with Big Hat Jack, aka Hermit, aka Dolores, dude is the most enigmatic human being I've ever met in my entire life. I met him in 2014. I didn't hear him speak for like 4 months. Let's put it that way. And he didn't say a single word in the team environment all season. And clearly that was tilting Zelfer, because Zelfer likes to have his supports communicate with him. And this dude is just a mute sitting there, doing his thing, literally saying nothing. And the way Zelfer likes to play, he needs his teammates to be aware of what he's doing to play around it to enable him to be a very good player. I mean, that's why I was kind of tilting him. It was like, all right, this guy is not telling me what he's doing in lane. How am I supposed to optimize my play in the offlane? And that's where I had to go Phil Jackson on this team and move everything around. I was like, all right, Ramster can play middle lane, get him middle lane, opens up the carry, moves out for the carry. Who's left? Oh, Badger player. Put him off lane. I played off lane last season. Made top 4 again, by the way. But it was like, all right, hopefully this can work. Because I played a different style than Zelfer. We actually played a lot of our style in terms of like tempo, how we played the games through Zelfer, through the offlane. We had to pick very late in the draft often. We had to pick sometimes even at 22. And the point was like, all right, we're going to play our games through Zelfer. But me, I'm the opposite. You do not play the games through Badger. Badger is an accessory to your victory condition. So when Jack goes around and like stacks the camps, or when Jack goes around and scouts the runes, or just leaves the lane for a gank, that would hurt Zelfer's offlane. Well, for me, it's really no difference. I'm going to feed. I'm going to get my stun. It'll be fine.
I think that's just the strat, but honestly, your performance last night is very inspiring. It taught me that I can die 7 times in lane and still win a game, so never give up.
I haven't watched the cast of your game 2 yet. I watched the game 1 cast earlier today, and there was a number of derogatory comments from your co-caster, JTK.
Well, that's every cast with JTK. I'm gonna be honest, like it's really lucky I wasn't doing the camera because every single time you died in game 2, I missed it. I just wasn't expecting it to happen so many times.
I mean, you're not wrong. I shouldn't have died as many times as I did. Maybe I should have died like 4 times. But there was a situation where it was my third death. I actually was kind of mad that I died in the fashion that I did. Because my first death, I died to kill Nira. Then Nira killed me 2 more times. But had that been the opposite order, Nira dies, then I die, that would have been a streak bonus because Remster came and ganked. That streak bonus actually would have been so huge. You notice that like a minute and a half later, Remster goes for the exact same gank on Snow. And because he had a streak bonus, it was a huge boost for him. So had I have fed in a different order, my Remster play would have carried even harder that game.
Let's go back to your mid-season lineup really quick. Do you think if you had another player at 4, it would have worked a little bit better with Zelfer in the off lane and you mid?
Yeah, I think if we had a more vocal 4 player, that would have been the sort of thing we needed to play around our man our man Zelfer in the off lane. And that could have been, all right, have Badger play DP, Viper, Necro, Razor, whatever, puck in the mid lane, and then run your draft through your 2 side lane course.
So I think you kind of mentioned this last night, but going to the finals games, did you really think you had a chance at those games?
I said it before, both in chat and on voice, that I think the only person who thought we were going to win is Zelfer. The expectations were play close, get at least 1 game, and I'm very happy we won. Obviously, we had a fighter's chance in this. We had a 30% chance to win it, but at best. But we obviously had a chance. We weren't just going to sit there and die. You know, that's the point of sitting there and surrendering in a Dota.
Your lane sort of started to look like that, but it was only game 2. You're up 1 game. I guess we could talk about the drafts a little bit. I wasn't very excited about you picking Warlock in game 2. I know you haven't watched that cast yet, but you'll probably catch that. Is that just a hero you like picking because it's easy?
I like Warlock because Warlock is, in my opinion, possibly the easiest hero in Dota in terms of team play. You know what Warlock's going to provide for you, and the Warlock player always know what his role is in the game. It's you heal on your allies, you heal on your enemies, drop the ulti, drop the fatal bonds. And what the player can do in terms of intellectual complexity comes down to, well, how do I position and how do I itemize rather than how do I play my fucking hero in the team fights. So it allows JBay, who's a pretty intelligent support player, to fully utilize his intelligence because he's playing a hero in which the complexity is very low. The strategical complexity is one-dimensional. So it allows him to say, all right, I'm going to focus specifically on where am I positioning, where am I using my abilities, when am I using my abilities. And you can see in the Warlock game, he did that very, very well. We had many different double fatal bonds thanks to the Grimstroke ulti. I think that's a very good way to win with these player draft amateur leagues.
I'm just gonna say, I think the talent is wasted. J-Bay playing Warlock because that game 1, to me, J-Bay was MVP in game 1 on that Wyvern.
If you listen to the team comms, there was a bit of anger towards a few of his ultimates. I don't think J-Bay played I think he played a much better game 2 than he played a game 1. I mean, I remember in the draft we were saying, all right, Wyvern's job, keep the Drow alive, use the Cold Embrace to save him, and then it's minute 6, our Drow is being dove, Wyvern's level 3, doesn't have Cold Embrace, so I don't think JB had the greatest game 1, to be honest. I think a lot of that game came down to very good team play because
it was. That's kind of what it takes to beat a Night Stalker too. I mean, it's not saying much, but you guys are the first team to beat Snow's Night Stalker this season. And again, that's not saying much because they were undefeated anyways. But it felt like that was their main hero or main go-to hero to just win a game.
Our draft plan was to second phase ban the Night Stalker. We were kind of shitting our pants once we figured out, they first phase the Night Stalker.
Just beat it anyways, and it worked out. Amazing team play there, if I do say so myself, in that game 1. Your other most picked hero 2 in 8 total matches, Grimstroke, as the combo.
I legitimately don't remember how we just picked this hero 8 times because we never went into a draft thinking we're going to pick Grimstroke. We had some draft plans sometimes we're gonna pick this, we're gonna pick that, we're gonna ban this, we're gonna ban that. I never went into a game thinking I'm gonna pick Grimstroke. We just happened to pick Grimstroke. just happened to us.
I mean, was there any other heroes that going into each game you're just like, we're gonna get this hero for J-Bay, we're gonna get this hero for or Zelfer, or to get this offlane hero?
Pretty frequently, like we'd have many situations like, all right, I want to pick say Remster Ember Spirit or Selfer Pangolier or Big Hat Jack Invoker or Shadow Demon. Like these are sort of heroes like, all right, I want these exact heroes. Never game plan for Aurora Grimstroke. It just kind of happened.
You're just like, oh, my mouse is over that hero, so I have to pick it now. All right, so let's circle back around then. Kind of talked about the championship, but let's talk about CDL in general. Again, we're up to 3 seasons now. Is there any knowledge you can give to Future Badger after running 2 seasons to do in season 3 and beyond running CDL?
Future Badger is going to be an idiot because present Badger is an idiot. And I'm aware of this. Yeah, I am not a perfect admin. There's been a number of shortcomings we've had. I think the number one thing that we try to do is that there's the intent to do better. And do we actualize that intent? Not always, but there always is the intent to improve. I think season 2 was run better than season 1. And the goal is for season 3 to run better than season 2. We're doing a number of preseason things, such as more deliberate checking into Smurfs to try to prevent a Smurf situation this season. We're adding both an activity check, which, by the way, will come out tonight, or maybe tomorrow, depending. And we also have a screen we can order to catch problematic players. We are actively improving on the mistakes we made last season. I think that's the number one thing I would tell Future Badger to do is just look at this, look at the mistakes you're currently making, you don't even know you're making, and fix them. And be humble. You're not perfect. Fix the damn mistakes. And that's what the mentality's been so far, and hopefully that's the mentality in the future to make the league experience as good as possible.
Okay. I like it. Just trying to be better season over season. Is there any plans to like market the league more than it is right now?
I mean, we're gonna make a post on our comp Dota 2 and our Dota 2, and hopefully those posts get some kind of traction. Because right now we're on pace to have probably 12 teams. Even though the last 2 seasons we had 14 teams, so hopefully the posts get us back to 14 teams.
And I
it's
guess
going to be the signature 14-team Dota League.
That's something I've wondered about over the past season too. Is this league feels more like a community than RD2L ever did, and I think that's because of a lot less players. Do you kind of feel the same way?
I mean, that was one of the things that I talked about in advertising season 1. Is it had more like an intimate community feel, and as of now, I'm of the opinion that we still definitely have a very intimate community feel. It's one of those things that's kind of hard to maintain because the more successful the league becomes, the almost inherently less intimate it's going to be. But for now, it's certainly an appeal, especially if we say don't grow particularly quickly. It'd be a pretty good thing to maintain. Hopefully, that's something like the spirit of intimacy in a sense we try to maintain. But it's been fun for now. We've definitely had that feel. I definitely liked it. It's nice to have the smaller, more cozy community in essence.
Awesome. Okay, well, Badger, you should feel humbled. You're the first person I've interviewed 3 times, let alone multiple. It's been a year since the last interview, and like 11 months since I've even done one. So we're gonna go back, throw back to a Dota Buff quiz. But this one's more about. Well, this one's more general in terms of like CDL stats, so some of the questions might be impossible, but that's the point. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just be ready for that. All right. So, let's jump into it. I have a book here. I think I got 6 questions. But let's go with it. All right. This is, I think these first 2 are for the league in general. So, overall, who was the most banned hero over all the matches in CDL? That includes playoffs, too, obviously.
Oh my lord. This is something that I probably should be relatively aware of. I think that the obvious options would be heroes who've been pretty consistently picked throughout. So it'd be either like Centaur or Sand King or Warlock. I'm gonna guess Sand King because I hear it was like in the top of the meta all the damn time, but
you are close. You're one match off. It's Warlock, number 1, 10 bans. 9 bans. Oh wait. It's Warlock, but I was on your team.
Yeah, we did a lot of Warlock.
51 bans. Sorry, Sand King had 36.
Jesus.
So, yeah, Warlock all the way. People don't like playing against this hero. And it only had a win rate of, well, it had a 60% win rate, so that's pretty legit.
It's pretty high.
40% win rate when it is banned. All right. On the flip side, who was the most picked hero?
Well, if the most banned hero is Warlock, it makes sense that the most picked hero is also Warlock. Because it's not like it got through frequently. I know my team picked it a lot of damn times this season. I honestly say Warlock for this one again.
Very good deductive skills, Badger. 31 matches, Warlock. Again, 60% win rate. Wow, you're a detective there. Straight math. All right, this one is one of the ones that I think is going to be impossible for you to get. But every single player in CDL, in a single game, who had the most CS and on what hero?
I mean,
so,
I want to say Nira played Medusa this game, so maybe it's Nira on Medusa, or maybe Abomination on Medusa. I know they played. The thing is, actually, their game duration was kind of short, so I'm going to say Nira Medusa, but I think I'm wrong on that.
It is Turtle. He's playing Lycan, and he had 590. And I don't think Medusa even touched the top, 10. There is a person on your team, though, in it. That kind of brings up the next question. Who had the most CS on your team in one game?
Let me think. It's probably Remster. Gotta be Remster, right?
It is, I believe, Remster. I'm trying to pull up the hero. It is Naga. Remster.
When did I pick Naga this season, actually?
I think you picked it once. And I can't remember if I casted that game because I seem to remember exactly when that happened, but
I should remember this game, but I don't. It's not a game I recall.
Here we go. This is the match. Oh, no, you did lose it, it looks like. What the fuck? It's against Nier. And he had it in a 47-minute game as a Naga Siren without a Radiance either.
Huh.
It looks like you were playing mid Lena as well.
Why is my team doing a fort? Oh, I remember why. We picked the Doom, we intended to go middle, and then they picked a fucking Monkey King. I was like, alright, we're putting the Lena middle.
You put a lot of off-lane heroes mid. It's very strange, if I do say so myself, when you were playing mid anyway.
And that was part of the philosophy of sack the mid lane. Like, I would always ask for no ward middle lane, because I intended on losing every.
Let's pick heroes that don't need farm and can just do stuff with abilities. That's all we need.
Pretty much, yeah. That was kind of the intention, is lose. I think I said it in the team Discord, I'm going to lose every single lane. And I think I might have, actually. I think I may have lost every single lane.
I think that's the one thing I remember from playing with you guys, too, is immediately I was like, hey, Badger, do you want to ward mid? And you're like, nope. It's not worth it. It's a waste of time.
Why people even gank middle anymore anyways, and if they do, they're just going to kill me.
Just inefficient. All right. Last question about your team. Who had the highest average kills on your team?
It's got to be Zelfer.
It is Zelfer. Do you know how much it was?
Probably 2.5 kills per game.
You are underselling your own team here. It's 8.5, just about 8.44 to be exact.
I said leading by 2 point. Wait, he led by 8.5 kills per game.
Oh no! He's actually leading by less than 0.2 because Remster had 8.29.
I thought Remster had a lot of good games too. Now think about it, the end of the season certainly inflated his kill numbers per game. Am I last place?
No. Big Hat Jack and J-Bay. You got 6 per game. You're very much the highest in terms of deaths, though, unfortunately.
I'm unsurprised.
You're above by 1.5 deaths per game, and that's only above Bear, who only played 4 games with you, and I believe it looks like you're about 3 deaths above Zelfer. So, on average, that's not terrible, I guess, but...
I'm a real death doer, you know. I love death. It's great.
Death is how you make space.
Great time.
Ultimate space maker. All right, last question. Who? This is back to CDL in general. Who had the highest KDA overall?
Do you mean okay? What sample size of games? So I know if it's any sample size, it'd be Bunk because he played one series and like a.
God damn it!
If, if it's actual players who actually played and didn't get banned, it's probably Nira, right? Because Nira, I have a lot of respect for Nira as a player. Dude's a fucking animal.
I think it was Nira. It totally was Bonk though. He had 40.
I know. It was just sitting there taunting me all goddamn season. I wasn't happy with that.
That'll be in the record books forever, unfortunately. But yeah, I believe it was... No, it's actually... Desperado had 24.5. Or, yeah. Nira had 7.9. Desperado went ham this season, apparently. But he only played 2 games with us.
The funny part is, like 3 weeks ago, it was like, you know, I held Nira back. Look at me, without the shackles of Badger with him, he's suddenly 16-0, and then we beat him. I have such respect for Nira as a player. Dude's an absolute animal.
All right, Badger. Any closing thoughts?
I'm gonna give the usual response of shout out to the players and community of CDL, but also specific shout outs to obviously my team, the biggest of Hat Jacks, JBase7, Zelfer, Ramster, and to the other people who are associated with the team, that being, of course, Mr. you for standing in, Sniper for standing in, and Bear for standing in. And obviously, thank you to you for interviewing me. And I have one final question to you: is will you be joining us for in-house tonight?